What's up, everyone? I'm CO Connolly, and today I just wanted to say, do what makes you happy. So I think I've seen, and I've talked to, several people who always not really complain, but they are basically not happy. And let me put it this way, okay? So it's not just their jobs, but it's also like relationships and family and things like that. And in my experience, my thing is that if you're not happy at your job, get a new one. Don't suffer where you are. But my generation, we were always told, have a new job before you quit your old one. So that's not to say, I'm going to quit my job and then find one next week. It's not always that that's not always the case. So always make sure that you find a new job before you quit your old one. And here's the thing. So if you have a job in the restaurant industry, and I will say this from experience, if you hate that job, don't get another job in the restaurant industry. Just don't do that. Because if you hate the place you work, fine. You can get another job in the restaurant industry. I understand that. Sometimes it's just the other people that you work with, and they're just shitty. So, okay, but if you hate the job of actually serving or hosting or whatever it is that you're doing at the restaurant job, don't go get another job at another restaurant just because it's easy. Do what makes you happy. Like if you have a job at a retail store, if you hate that job, don't go get another job at the retail. Try something new, do something different. And yes, I'm being very, minimal on jobs and stuff like that because in my case, I don't believe in college. Not that I don't believe in college. Okay, hold on. Let me put it this way. I don't believe in going into debt for a college degree. Okay, so I had taken a 2-year college course and I managed to get my master's in fine arts in creative writing. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. An MFA does absolutely nothing. Just saying. Just letting you know that. It does nothing. It's not even a, journalism degree or anything like that, which I probably should have gone for journalism because that would have been way better. But I did get an MFA. But I took a 2-year course, which is, enough for me. Let me put it that way. Would I have rather moved on and did a 4-year course in mastered in English? Yes. But here's the problem with that. Okay. So certain things can only be done in certain ways, and going an easier route where you can pay for your college as you go makes it a hell of a lot easier than having student loans out. And then you're miserable because you're not only trying to pay your housing bills, but you're also trying to pay your student loans. See what I'm saying? And that just sucks. Like there's no reason, unless the job that you want is like doctor, lawyer, nursing, because I know someone who's in nursing courses and has been for 6 years, something like that. But anyway, so my thing is though, is that don't put yourself in a rut for a job or a profession that's just going to make you miserable. My son went to college for a year. He was mastering in architecture. He thought that was cool. He's like, ooh, I want to be an architect. He was really good at drawing. He just really didn't care for the schooling, which is fine. Great. Awesome. But he did the same thing that I did. He started at a 2-year, college so that he could do his basics, get basically into the architecture program and go from there. And if he decided to move into a 4-year university, then great. But he went for a year. Of course, that year ended up being, 2019, 2020. So the end of his, first year was done at home. So that's my point though, is that don't go to college because you think you're supposed to. It's not going to make you happy if that's not what you want to do. The only people who should go to college are the ones who are actually going to take courses that are going to make them a lot of fucking money once they actually get a job And then they don't have to worry about the student loans and stuff because it's like, let me go ahead and pay this off real quick because I'm a fucking lawyer and I make shit tons of money, and I'm a doctor and I make a shit ton of money. You know, things like that. That's all I'm saying. Don't put yourself in a rut for, you know, an art degree. And I've seen a lot of people talk about the fact that they aren't going to pay their student loans. Like, what are they going to do? That goes on your credit. And then it looks really bad when you try to buy a car or a house or anything else. So, but my thing is, though, is that most of these people who have student loans, who've gone to college and they weren't able to get a job in the field that they studied, they are now so miserable. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do things that make you miserable. Do things that make you happy. Always do whatever makes you happy. I loved working in the restaurant industry. I did it for 12 years. I friggin' loved it. You know, waiting tables was awesome. Yes, there were times where I had straight up panic attacks and they took me right out the back door to sit there and try to get me out of it. Because when you've got, you know, 10 tables and they're all asking for something and you're trying your best, but then they're just pissed off because you walked past them and somebody else asked you for something and you forgot about what the first thing was that was asked for. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot your fucking ranch, bitch. That doesn't mean start screaming at me for no reason. Yeah, I got it. Let me go grab that real quick. I'm so sorry. But I have severe anxiety, so sometimes it turns into a full-blown panic attack and it's not pretty. But I did do that for 12 years. And then I moved into retail and I worked in the copy center at an office supply store. I did that for 2 years, moved into management, and did that for another 5 years. I got kicked out of that job because I ended up with a back injury. And then we found out that I have, you know, scoliosis and spinal stenosis and all kinds of other shit going on with my back, because that's awesome. That's cool. And then they wouldn't approve me to come back to work because they considered me as a liability due to the diagnosis, which was awesome. So that's how I ended up doing writing full time, which was fine because otherwise, like if you notice the dates, like the publication dates, the copyright dates on my books, I've got one from 2012, I've got one from 2014, and then the next one doesn't come out until 2019. But that was when I started writing full time and getting everything done. So 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, I got one book out a year. 2023, I managed to get out 3 books in that year. 2024, this year, I'm getting 2 books out. So I'm able to do my writing full time, and my husband knew that this is what I wanted to do. Yeah, okay, I got an MFA in creative writing. Great. This is what it does. This is the job it gives me at home. So if you're thinking about getting an MFA, think about it that way. It gives you a job at home, but it doesn't give you a steady paycheck, because selling books is not a steady paycheck. And I'm going to put that right out there. Being an author is not a steady paycheck. You never know what you're going to make week to week, month to month, year to year. Is always going to be different. This is why I'm so glad that my husband has had the same job since he was 18 years old. He has been at that company for almost 30 years. Let's see, I think he's at year 27, 28, something like that. So there you go. Yeah, in about 3 years, in 3 years, he'll be at the same company for 30 years. And he has been able to move up in that company. And he started out as a warehouse guy. So anyway, my thing is, though, is that he's happy. He loves his job. He's even talked about the fact that even if he won the lottery, he wouldn't quit his job. He would continue to work. And the reason why he would continue to work is because, number one, he loves his job. He loves going to work every day. I mean, I know that when he comes home and he answers his phone for customers or other employees asking him questions. That includes when a customer will call him and go, hey, can you call the store I'm at and tell them what I want, because they're not understanding me. And then my husband calls and rattles off some numbers to them. They type it in the computer and go, here it is. And the guy's like, oh, thanks, because my husband knows the numbers to every product that they have, which is fucking weird because it's air conditioning supply. And there's a lot. So anyway, but he loves his job. He's happy there. He loves being there. And they appreciate him. And that's one thing that he is really happy about too, is the fact that the job appreciates him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be there as long as he has. It's because the company actually appreciates him for what he does and the way that he, works. There are other jobs that they don't feel that way. When I worked for the office supply store, I worked at, I think it was like 8 to 10 different stores. And it's not that, I kept bouncing around or anything like that. It was more of the fact that there was certain things I taught myself because I wanted to know everything. And it was just in case I needed to, so my expertise was in the copy center, but then I moved to be an operations manager. So I was the one who opened the store and made sure that everything got stocked. But if I needed to sell a printer or a computer, I needed to know shit about the, electronics. So I made sure to know everything about everything. But because my expertise was in the copy center, when they needed help, whether it be management duties, which was counting the register, closing up, things like that, if they needed help in the copy center, they needed help with management duties, they needed help with, the register, because who the hell can't run a register? My thing is that sometimes other stores would be like, hey, can you spare her? And it was weird because there were times where I went on vacation and I get phone calls from other store managers and it's like, oh my God, did you quit? No, I didn't quit. Okay, well, if you ever do, come to my store. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I know I work hard. So, and I loved that. I loved the fact that there were other store managers that really appreciated what I did. And I even worked at a store where the store manager appreciated what I did. And best store manager, like the store that he had ran like a well-oiled machine. How it runs now, I have no idea. I haven't been back over there in, several years. So anyway, but there were times where I was at a store, like my home store, and the store manager, because they didn't want to do their job, they would put a lot of that on me because they knew my hyperactivity. I had to be constantly busy, constantly working. And then for some reason, they had to do things in the middle of me trying to get my job and their job done. They would be like, okay, I don't understand why you're not getting shit done. Well, bitch, because I got 2 jobs that I'm trying to take care of. And this was twice at the exact same store with 2 different store managers who knew that I knew more than they did because they worked at the company for less time than I did. Why they were store managers and I wasn't? That's a good question. But eventually it made it to where I wasn't happy there, but I was there because it was a paycheck. And I stayed there because it gave me the flexibility so that whenever I came home, I would write. But if anyone has seen my older videos, there is one video where I talked about the fact that I became so unhappy with my job at this store that I stopped writing. And that's the reason why it goes from 2014 to 2019. That's the problem with that. Because I was hoping to have the book that was published in 2019 published in 2016, but it didn't happen because I was so unhappy at work. I could not work on any of my books. I couldn't write anything. I was so unhappy and I just lost interest completely. And it was really awful. And it wasn't until I got kicked out of work and I was stuck at home that I got, you know what? I am in a great mood. I'm going to start writing again. And I did. And it worked out well for me. And I'm so happy. And that's the best, that's my point. Do what makes you happy. If you are not happy in your job, move on. If there's certain people in your family that don't make you happy, cut them out. I know this from personal experience. It's so much better. It is so much better just to get rid of them and have them out of your life. The problem is, though, is that when their extended family decides to tell you that they're stalking you on social media, because that's cool too. I don't give a shit. The fact that I live rent-free in your head, that's awesome. I'm going to do me, and I'm going to continue doing what makes me happy. So here's the deal. Don't let people bring you down. Don't let your job bring you down. Don't do things or be with people that make you unhappy. Do what makes you happy. There's no reason to live life miserable. It is absolutely one of the worst things that anyone could go through. If you're going to live your life so miserably and just be that person who's complaining on social media about every aspect of their life, or, the fact that they feel disrespected for this or disrespected for that. Bitch, nobody gives a shit. Like, literally, nobody cares. The little keyboard people who are all like, oh, I'm so sorry you feel that way. They really don't care. They don't. They're just trying to build you up to make you happy. But because you're going to continue to complain about it, eventually people are going to stop being nice to you. And eventually you're going to start getting more trolls than you are anybody else. So just, if you're upset and you feel disrespected from some people, then just fucking ignore them. Who gives a shit? Okay, so you work in an office with someone and that person, insists on calling you a name that you don't associate with yourself. Like, that's not your name, but they want to call you that. And you keep correcting them, but then they just don't care. They're going to call you whatever they want. So my thing is, instead of making a big stink out of it and causing a giant ruckus in the entire office, just ignore them, because they're fucking assholes and that's just who they are. That's just exactly what they're going to do. They're doing it to ruffle your feathers. They're like toddlers who are just picking and picking and picking until they see exactly what they can do to piss you off. That's what it is. It's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to ruffle your feathers to see how much they can get away with until you get mad. So don't let it bother you. Just, okay, whatever, bitch, and move on with your day. If you don't like the job, then move on. But if you like your job and all it is this one coworker that's being an asshole, just ignore it. Just ignore that person. They are purposely being an asshole. You don't need it. You really don't need it. So find what makes you happy. Find that thing that will literally create positivity in your life and make you feel so good about yourself that you don't give a shit what anyone says or thinks about you. 'Cause I sure as fuck don't. I don't give a shit what anyone says. You want to sit there and talk shit about me? 99% of what you say is a fucking lie. Actually, no, 100% of what you say is a fucking lie. But who cares? If your little lackeys or whatever are gonna fucking believe you, then great, whatever, cool. I'm doing my thing over here. I like to, read tarot cards. It makes me happy. I have a pendulum board. Let me see. I think I've shown this in one of my videos before. I have a pendulum board. Literally, I will sit here with my pendulum board and talk to it. Do I believe 99% of what it says? No, but it's fun. It makes me happy. It makes me giggle sometimes, And my tarot cards, I have several different decks. I have 2 different decks of tarot cards and I have 2 different oracle cards and they make me happy. And sometimes it'll tell me, hey, get over yourself type of thing, or hey, you need to have patience. It's coming. And it's like, okay, I'm going to wait. That's just how it is. That's how it always works out. It's okay. And it makes me feel good. It makes me feel better about myself. Also makes me feel a little bit more connected to the universe. Sometimes I'll just go outside just to be out there because it's so nice. Sorry, there's a squirrel outside that got my attention. But I'm just saying, sometimes just being outside is nice. And I'll go out and I'll visit my cat's grave that's out there, my sweet little Valentine. So my thing is the fact that if you're not going to do what makes you happy, complaining about it on the internet, it's not going to solve anything. And only you can actually solve your happiness. Only you can create your happiness. It's when you invite positivity into your life and just reject all the negativity, the negative people, the negative jobs, the negative vibes, the negative energy, just get it out. Accept the positive energy. Accept positive energy and just reject all the negativity. I don't know what else I can say about that. Too many people invite negativity into their lives, and that's another reason why a lot of people are divided, especially in the United States. I don't know about other countries, but in the United States, it's really bad where people are divided because you're either on one end of the spectrum or the other in everything, whether it be politics, religion, just who you are as a person. You know, you're on two different ends of the spectrum, and instead of, like it used to be, okay, so we have different viewpoints. Great, we just won't talk about it. They ignore it, and they move on with their day. I think you're a great person. I don't agree with your politics. I don't agree with your religion. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. Cool, move on. Let's go hang out over here. Great. No, now it's, I don't agree with your politics. I don't agree with your religion. I'm not fucking talking to you. Why? Like, I don't understand that. Like, I don't agree with organized religion. I really don't. I don't agree with organized religion, but I have mentioned the reasons why for that in other videos. I also can say that I don't agree with either side of the political spectrum. I really don't. You got one side that is completely nuts, and then you've got another side that is completely nuts. You've got fanatics on both ends. And it's like, you know what? Just fucking leave me out of this. Please do not have a political debate with me because I will fuck you up. I don't give a shit what your views are. Because I don't follow politics generally. And the reason why I don't is because it doesn't matter how I vote. The Electoral College is going to go, this is the person that we've chosen. Great, awesome, cool, okay. And instead of that, it doesn't matter who I talk to, because when they ask, if anyone asks what my political affiliation is, it's usually neither. Sometimes they'll talk to me and we'll have discussions. Sometimes they're just going to go, okay. And I always know which side is going to sit and have conversations with me and which side is just going to go, and turn around and walk away. So, anyway, my thing is, do what makes you happy. Find out what in life makes you happy. The end. That is just the best way to look at it. Reject the negativity, embrace the positivity, put a smile on your face, and get through the days happy. Someone says something stupid or decides to disrespect you, fuck them. Who gives a shit? I'm sorry. That's how I see it. Anyway, that's it. I put out new videos every Monday and Thursday, so like, comment, share, subscribe, or don't. I don't give a shit. Do whatever the fuck you want. I'm always here rambling, just saying what I want. I fucking publish books. They're generally horror books with slashers and serial killers and all kinds of kind of stuff, you know. Yeah. That's how I prefer it. Anywho, I'll see you later. Goodbye.